Barcola on the right, and it's scored! Now it's Iniesta, this is it, that's the goal! Beautiful throw down by Bellingham! Brilliant run by Maradona! It's Haaland! Unbelievable! Weaving through, Mbappé, Harry Kane, kings of football.
It's time for England's World Cup quest to kick off. Enjoy the ride if you can. Who else? Jude Bellingham in the right place. Kane. Gordon in looking for Kane. Kane could get a shot in. Oh, yes! England have never needed their captain more.
Stay up till 2 tonight to try to talk to you.
Saka across. It's there! It's two! Bellingham has a chance! And brilliant Bellingham takes that chance! Rodgers with the strike! Bellingham there! Rodgers having a look, looking for Gordon! Resistance broken. Messi again. Lautaro Martinez heads it in. And the pain goes on for English football.
And after all that, England's 2026 World Cup campaign ends in a playoff for third place. Thomas Tuchel is looking to pick his side up off the canvas after that late semi-final defeat to Argentina just 3 days ago. And this will be the 187th and final fixture of Didier Deschamps' 14-year tenure in charge of France, who arrive having been outplayed by Spain in their semi-final. Kylian Mbappé still has the golden boot to play for. So Miami is the venue seat of England's quarter-final win against Norway. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff local time, and the temperature is 32 degrees. Slightly cooler, I have to say, in New Jersey, where either Argentina or Spain will be lifting the World Cup in about 24 hours' time. That will, remember, live 7 o'clock, BBC One and the iPlayer tomorrow. A very good evening to you. Stephen Warnock and Martin Keown are with me. We'll get their thoughts after the England team news. Thomas Tuchel makes 7 changes from the side that lost to Argentina. Dean Henderson comes in for Jordan Pickford to make his major tournament debut. In defence, Ezri Konsa returns at right back after serving his 2-game suspension. Ezri Konsa comes in for John Stones. Declan Rice playing remarkably his 69th game of the season, captains the side despite managing a hamstring problem. A back injury for Kobbie Mainoo means he's not even fit enough for the bench. Eberechi Eze starts his first World Cup game alongside Chelsea-bound Morgan Rogers. On the flanks, it's Bukayo Saka and Marcus Rashford hoping to supply Ivan Toney, who makes his first England start in more than 2 years. In fact, let's hear from Ivan Toney, followed by the England coach, Thomas Tuchel.
Well, Ivan, as a squad, you've had a few days now to come back from that semi-final. How tough has this period been? And crucially, how have you lifted yourselves for today?
Yeah, it's been tough. Obviously, we all thought it was the one, but unfortunately it wasn't. But we have to regroup, we have to pick ourselves up, and we have to try and finish the tournament on a high.
You finally got on the pitch at the end of that Argentina match. What's this tournament been like for you, and how hungry are you for today's opportunity?
Yeah, I've always been hungry for this opportunity, you know. Yeah, it was frustrating that I only got a few minutes, but that's how football goes sometimes. It is what it is, but now today is my chance to prove that I should have got more minutes maybe.
How important is today's game against a France side who have plenty to play for themselves in terms of making a statement?
would be ideal, but it's very difficult. I think we play against, until the semi-final, I think everyone would have agreed that France is the top favorite in this tournament. They won 8 years ago, they were in the final 4 years ago, they were in the Nations League final. They were on their way to the final and seemed the strongest team in this tournament with the strongest form, and had a total day off in the semi-final, got knocked out. So it just tells you we're like on the same stage than them, playing for third place. A very, very difficult opponent. But we said, like I said yesterday, we feel that there's still a slight gap between us and the top 3 teams, and today we try to close that gap and we'll compete and try to get that win, because it's an important one for us.
As always, good luck. Thanks, Thomas.
Of course, we will look ahead to today's game, but there is only one place to start, and that is England's defeat to Argentina. Stephen, you've been having a closer look at what happened. A very good evening to you both.
Yeah, I think it's been something that's been talked about a lot, Jason, about the system and how England dropped deep. And it was something that we noticed was in between England scoring and conceding against Argentina, there was a drop in the players, the way they performed, because they're so scared before they've made any changes to actually push a defender, and you'll see that back five's intact. But what you've got to do is, and what Thomas Tuchel spoke about, was stopping crosses coming into the box. Well, we see a 2v1 situation out on this right-hand side, so they don't do that, so they come across this left-hand side. Jed Spence should be over quicker, he should be getting out, but he's got a 2v1 again. Lovely ball into the middle, runs off the back of Elliot Anderson. McAllister nearly scores a goal. Now, this is going to happen. They're going to be a little bit disjointed at times, but it's how you get organised. Dan Burns now on the pitch, you can see bottom of the screen. Jed Spence outnumbered, 3v1 situation, and obviously we know the impact that Messi had. And you'll see here as play progresses down the side and it comes across the pitch. McAllister's free, no one picking him up. O'Reilly's too slow to get out to him. But if you're not picking up players, if you're not organised, it's very difficult. And then this was sort of the later stages of the game. It was just incredible. 4 passes into the final third for England, 160 passes for Argentina. Absolutely dominant after England scored the goal through Anthony Gordon.
We do have to credit, though, Argentina, the way that they came back into the game. They were very physical in the opening exchanges, but when they started to play football, they had to play football. But we sank away. You know, that was the disappointing thing. We scored the goal after 55 minutes. And then, you know, we had a manager, when he took the job, was talking about the DNA of the players, and they lacked an identity. And they played with fear under Gareth Southgate. And we saw the same fear. We saw that same identity. And he's had 18 months to inject that into the players. So that's the problem for it. Look, I do feel he's an elite manager, and he has to be in charge, continue to and learn from this experience. But he's understanding what it's like now to be the England manager. People have said it's the impossible job, but I do feel that he wasn't able to educate and change the mindset of the players going into the tournament.
You're right, in terms of Argentina, it was an onslaught, wasn't it, Martin and Stephen? But in terms of the DNA, this is really fascinating, and it's up for debate here. Is Thomas Tuchel suggesting then there's a problem with English football in terms of its DNA from grassroots right to international level? Because we know, Stephen, if that was Spain, they would have controlled the game so differently to the way England controlled it.
They would have, but also as well, you've got to inject some difference into the game. So when you make your changes, make positive changes, make the difference in higher positions to be able to close down Argentina, to get out. England didn't have an outlet. So you're never going to be able to control the game when you don't have that ability to stretch the game, to go beyond. If you look at Spain, they never changed the system. When they're struggling, when they're under pressure, those wingers still play high and wide. They get them on the ball. They outnumber players 3v2 in situations.
But they keep the football as well.
Yeah,
Stephen.
but also they're brought up through that system. So it's from
therein
right the way
that
through.
Interesting
exactly,
point.
Yeah, there was a perfect example the night before, the way that the Spanish were playing arguably against, you know, a fantastic team in France, and just kept playing their football. I do feel, though, that this manager has had better players than Gareth Southgate's had available, certainly in the midfield area. Gareth often played a 5 because he didn't quite have the midfield. We've got Anderson in there, Rice, Bellingham, some of the best midfield players in European football. So we should have been able to do better and control the game.
What do you make of these stats in terms of England at the World Cup?
I think you can read into stats what you want to read. These are dropped off, but let's not take out of consideration or take out the equation the weather, the conditions, how difficult it is. You've got to play moments in a game as well, so sometimes stats can be a little bit misleading.
Let's look ahead to tonight. How are you feeling about this evening, Martin?
Well, it seems to be the game that nobody really wants to play. But, you know, you're always a proud Englishman when you put on that shirt. Interesting, Declan Rice is playing. We've heard so much about him being injured. I'm surprised. A good opportunity for Ivan Toney. I think there's an awful lot of creativity in the midfield with Rodgers and Eze playing either side of Rice. I'm actually looking forward to it now as a game. You know, I mean, this is a game where you're playing for the bronze medal. And in our game, it doesn't really feel coveted. If it was an Olympic sport, it'd be different. But nonetheless, there's still an awful lot to play for, and it will be a good challenge for the players to prove that, to rebuild their reputation as England players.
Incredible season Declan Rice has had, and he captains tonight.
Yeah, I think he probably wants to play because he's probably not over keen or not overly happy with his couple of performances, the Mexico game, the Norway game.
He's had injuries though, hasn't he, to contend with?
Yeah, but that's out of his hands, and that's the manager's decision to change that. I think a long season, does he need to play? Does he need to show anything to the manager? But I think it's probably more so the mentality of the player, desperate to play, desperate to put aside what's happened in the last few days. The one thing players want to do when they get beat, they want to play the next game as quick as possible because they want to put that out of their minds as quick as
Therefore,
possible.
wouldn't Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane have wanted to play tonight, Martin?
I'm pretty certain they would have done, but they're still good players in that midfield. You know, and you were seeing Saka now, didn't play in the semi-final. These people are available. You're thinking, well, why weren't they used the other night? We know that Saka has had injury problems. We know that the season that Arsenal has seemed to have impacted on England. We haven't seen the Arsenal players at their best, but that is a good team they're putting out tonight. I expect them to do very well.
OK, chaps, at the moment. Thank you very much indeed. And in 2018, Eden Hazard got the second goal for Belgium in a 2-0 win against Gareth Southgate's side. Good finish, remember that well. And Italy in 1990 before you start, boys. So technically, a win in Florida today would be the best World Cup finish for England since 1966. Let's get over to Miami then. Kelly Summers is alongside Danny Murphy.
Yes, Jason, and that is very much the message from the manager and players ahead of this one. But it's hard not to stand here and think back to just a week ago when the dream was very much still alive as we came here for the quarter-final in Miami. Danny, I know you weren't there that day, but I just wanted to ask you what you think for the players, how tough it must be for them to get themselves up for today.
I think it's incredibly difficult after the devastation of the loss of the semi-final, hence the fact you see the new players, new energy, people wanting to prove a point. But I am surprised with the golden boot that we haven't seen Kane or Bellingham, really surprised.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, in England without Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane?
Yeah, but it gives others an opportunity, and we don't know how fatigued they are, whether the manager's had a conversation with them to see if they wanted to play. I would expect Kane would with the goal situation. But it's a chance for these lads to show themselves. Some of them haven't played in a World Cup or many minutes, so they can enjoy it.
How important is today for Thomas Tuchel, given the response, the way they lost against Argentina, and also the public's and media's response?
I'm not sure whatever England do today is going to suppress the criticism that he's facing. It was a terrible performance second half, and I think they went out with a whimper rather than on their shield. I think he will keep his job, but I don't think he should.
You really don't think that he's the man to lead England forward?
He's failed, and he's failed in the same way we failed before. It's the biggest tournament in the world, and he had his opportunity, and I think, as I said, I think he probably will get the vote of confidence, but I think they should make a change.
What about in terms that this could do for the players' psyche, playing a team ranked above them again? We are, of course, fourth in the world. France were the favourites. Will that do something for the players today if they can get a result?
Not really. No, honestly, I think they'll be so devastated. They were so close. They had the game in their hands. They had control. They're missing out on a World Cup final tomorrow because of the tactics. So a win here, a tiny consolation maybe, but nothing more.
Okay, well, the players will be hoping they can get themselves up for it. As you can see, they're warming up behind us. Feels very strange seeing Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham amongst the substitutes. The other thing we're wondering is just how many England fans are going to be inside here, Jason, because the ticket prices are high and there's not as many flags as we've had at previous games.
Kelly, thank you very much indeed. Strong stuff from Danny there. Didier Deschamps has managed more World Cup games than anyone in the tournament's history. He lifted the trophy, of course, as both captain and coach of France. Today marks the end of his long spell in charge.
L'équipe de France va me manquer parce qu'elle a pris tellement de place. Il n'y a rien qui a été plus beau et puis rien qui est plus important que ce maillot-là.
Deschamps was always the most intelligent, was always higher than anybody else.
Leader of the pack, Didier Deschamps.
It
was something key, who brought respect towards the possibility that all together, no matter where we are coming from and the origin, we could achieve something.
France have won the World Cup for the first time.
What we learned from '98 was forgotten pretty quickly after it. And I think 2018, Deschamps wanted to reignite that.
Once you've won the World Cup, you try to transmit your experience and your serenity.
People have to understand how difficult it is to manage a dressing room. It's 26 players with huge egos. And as a national team head coach, you need to be able to navigate in that dressing room. Some managers are very good at it, others struggle. They struggle to understand the dynamic. Deschamps sees it in a wing.
When Didier had to take the French national team, before him was Laurent Blanc, and the respect was supposed to be at the same level, but France still continued to fail. But we knew that with Didier, with the obsession that he has to succeed, was going to identify the correct strategy, philosophy for the national team.
Congratulations to France, who are champions of the football world.
His genius was group management. He's very pragmatic to keep a good squad harmony. He makes sure there is no rebellion, puts the collective above individuals.
Champion du monde!
His legacy will be the fact that he came and he's leaving the French Federation in a healthier place.
J'ai eu ce privilège de pouvoir connaître ce qu'il y a de mieux dans le football. Évidemment, le mérite revient toujours aux joueurs.
Mille merci, Didier.
Avec grand plaisir.
Very much the end of an era. Well, Didier Deschamps also makes 7 changes for his 187th and final game in charge of France. Mike Maignan in goal is one of the 4 survivors. A new look back four sees Malo Gusto and Ibrahim Konate make their first start of the tournament. Warren Zaire-Emery joins Adrien Rabiot in anchoring the midfield. Ahead of them, Ryan Cherki also makes his first World Cup start after 6 substitute appearances. Desiree Doué and Michael Olise either side of Kylian Mbappé, aiming to become the first player to win back-to-back World Cup Golden Boots. It has been some journey for Didier Deschamps, but you have to ask this question, Martin. Could it and should have been better?
He'll probably reflect and feel that. You know, as he goes out the door, he's been magnificent, 14 years of real dominance and success, but I felt this was probably the best team that he's ever had. And somehow he let it slip through his fingers against Spain. I think Spain were magnificent, and that will be an incredible final. We'll see tomorrow. But I think overall he can be happy. You get to 3 finals, you know, you win one of those. 2018, I thought they were magnificent. How he evolved the team. I thought Olise going into that pocket in the sort of 10 role, almost copying the Messi role, was good innovation from him, but it proved not to be enough.
I remember being at the final 2018 in Moscow, Stephen, for BBC Sport, where they absolutely blew away that Croatia side. Some squad then as well, and some squad he's built up over his reign.
Yeah, listen, French football's in a magnificent place, and Gaël Clichy said it on the VT there. It's in such a healthy place, and there will be a lot of people who look at his reign now and say, yeah, but you didn't get the best out of this squad. Football's so difficult. A World Cup to win it is very difficult. We're talking about England and how they've suffered and how small margins can change games. One thing he talked about there in the VT was Julien Laurent said it. He said he built a collective and he concentrated on a team. They were beaten by a team the other day, and at times this has been a little bit individual. When you think of Mbappe, Olise, Doué, you've got Dembélé as well, but a collective beat them because they were more organised, they were better at containing France, and that's not an easy thing to do.
As you said, I felt they had an off day, though, didn't they? They really did have it. They didn't connect in the way that they were in the previous games, and I think sometimes that can happen with that individualism. Absolutely. The really good team can maybe... That midfield for Spain is quite remarkable. And maybe they kind of kill you with 1,000 cuts, the way they pass the ball around you. And even that great 4 in front couldn't
Well, really you know this better than anyone. You can't do much without the football.
No, exactly that. You have to return... I mean, that was my job, to get the ball and then give it to people who could actually do something with it. That's a balance you have. And the team that finds the best balance in this competition wins it.
Yeah, Kylian Mbappé has a golden boot to win as well.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of this one, where in the third and fourth playoff you can still get the golden boot. I think it should have been done in the main competition. But listen, he'll want to get the record. He'll want that golden boot. He's hungry to set records, to break records, and listen, he's been superb throughout this World Cup. But the man behind him there, Elise, he's been the provider, and if he can get on the ball in dangerous positions, we know what he's capable of as well.
Mbappe's a frightening prospect. If you're a modern-day player having to play against him, I think he's quite magnificent. And a lot of the goals he scores were almost in defiance. This is what this World Cup's been shown for me, where all the goal scorers have turned up, haven't they? And any young kid playing the game...
We're up against, and so far it's been very good.
France are so open, aren't they, Martin?
They are, but you have to applaud what England are doing. It's a really good performance. We're seeing great early passes from Ezri in that midfield. I really like the look of those two Rodgers, those 10s in the pocket. Saka getting early possession suddenly, and he looks a completely different player. I mean, you do hark back to the last game. Saka doesn't take to the field. Rashford comes on in the 96th minute. There's that feeling about this match, but they can only beat what's in front of them, and they look really emphatic at the moment, England.
Yep, and Declan Rice got England underway.
Yeah, brilliant play from Declan Rice. I mean, intercepting the ball, the way he drives forward, but you look at the way that they win the ball back here, and they're light at the back. They're in a 2v1 situation. Declan Rice knows he's now got to fill in that left-back position. You see him here. Never takes his eye off the ball, always in a good position to go forward. Lovely overlapping run for him, Rashford. But look at the numbers, high up the pitch. 6 England players high up the pitch when they win it.
Minutes that he's played in this season. Of course, he's had a tremendous season with Arsenal, Martin, winning the Premier League, and obviously runners-up in the Champions League final as well. But look at that, what a machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible amount of games he's played, and you've wondered if it's affected him, but he's playing with such freedom tonight. I mean, I don't know whether the Mexico game affected us afterwards, the altitude issues, but the English players they look full of running, and they're getting bodies into the final third, and we'll see on the third goal, they run from deep in the position they were in against Argentina, and many a time sitting on the edge of the box, didn't look like they had the energy to break. And suddenly, for this third goal, the pace, power, energy, it's remarkable to see. But it just feels like it's after the Lord Mayor's show. It's that feeling about it tonight. We could be sitting here, this could be a World Cup final.
Well, that's the point. There are many people will be watching at home and thinking, where was this performance against Argentina?
Yeah, 100%. And I just think, where was the pace against Argentina? I think when you think of the performance of both Rashford and Saka and the ability to stretch the pitch, and something I spoke about before the game was, pace kills anyone. It's a defender's worst nightmare, and it's so hard to defend against. And you see that pace from Rashford, from Saka on the wings. It's been really impressive. It's been tough to defend against for France.
And then suddenly England 2-0, Martin.
Yeah, from a set piece, another assist from Rice. Suddenly he finds that perfect ball. It's all about delivery. We've seen it all season. Konsa now cashing in.
What a very, very passionate and emotional interview.
Yeah, listen, he's been in the camp for so long. Yeah, of course you can, because one thing that Thomas Tuchel talks about, and Anthony Barry's talked about it, is having like a brotherhood within the team, and how tight they are as a unit. I think you can see that from the emotion that he showed there. I think he's probably emotionally drained as well from what's happened, and they're probably looking back at things. How could we have done things differently? He talks about being a little bit cynical there, but yeah, listen, that's what we want to see from him.
You sense a care though, and a love for the players
in the squad.
Yeah, 100%. And you have to have that. There'll be other chances. The Euros coming up, and then maybe hoping another World Cup. They're building towards something special. There's a lot of hurt, and he's seen it throughout the group, and he's so proud of their performance. And you have to applaud what England are doing here, by the way, because it would have been easy, wouldn't it? Just to lay down in a corner and not really fancy it, but they've certainly come out fighting tonight.
And also, the point is, what might have been. OK, for the moment, thank you. Second half to come shortly. The first ever 2018 World Cup has been something of an odyssey, and it all comes down to Spain-Argentina in New Jersey tomorrow.
48 teams, down to just 2. We have reached the end of the journey.
Oh, extraordinary!
6 weeks, over 100 matches, an epic voyage.
They've faced legends, idols, heroes.
They fought against the odds. They've battled the gods.
For these 2 nations, there will be very different outcomes.
For one, despair and defeat.
Their tale ends as a tragedy.
But there's no consolation for losers.
For the other, glory.
Champions of the football world.
Legendary status awaits.
They've won the World Cup final.
A victory celebrated by the future generations, forever
and ever. It's time for the World Cup final.
Oof. Cannot wait. Right, our team in New York have been gearing up for the big one with a spot of rowing on the Hudson. Wayne Rooney delivering on a promise he made earlier in the tournament with Joe Hart and Michael Richards alongside him. There's more of that available on the BBC Sport website and app, BBC Sport socials, BBC Sport YouTube channel. And after that workout, Joe is alongside our World Cup final commentator, Guy Mowbray.
Well, Joe, New York, and here's your favourite place. How was your trip on the river?
It was funny. Waz's big mouth, but we backed him up, and we had a laugh. We always do. It was, yeah, we did all right.
And we're here for a big reason, because there's a huge game tomorrow. We've got two Latin nations, but two nations of very different styles.
I think that's exactly what we've got, and that's why it's so interesting. I think obviously the Spanish style is, as you see it, they probably train the same every day. They work on the same sort of things, same sort of tactics, same sort of movements, and they're excellent at it, unbelievable at it, in fact. Obviously doing what they did in the Euros 2 years ago. And then you've just got the craziness of Argentina that was phenomenal. You know, we saw it the other night. We saw that it wasn't perfect. By no means is it perfect, but geez, they'll give absolutely everything they possibly can and sprinkle on top with the greatest player to ever play the game. It's not a bad combo.
And you look at Spain, who are a team. We keep calling them a team with no stars as such, but Manchester City's Rodri seems to have had a revival. He has come back to life at this tournament.
Well, he's worked really hard. He went through a devastating injury just at the height of his powers, Ballon d'Or, doing everything he did at Manchester City. Very stop-start season, understandably. I think the season before practically missed it, didn't he? And then last season he wasn't purring. But it comes with time. He's a brilliant, brilliant player. Manchester City changed their style a little bit. They weren't as much playing through the lines as they probably would have done. You know, Pep tried to evolve the team, but this Spanish team very much plays to his tune, and he's fantastic at it. He's grown in confidence and fitness and prowess, and you know, this could be his day tomorrow.
And you just mentioned about Argentina. We know they've got the greatest player that ever played, but
they're just trying to slowly work the team out. Whereas Spain just pass you into submission and then beat you. Whereas Argentina are just looking for any angle. How can we get, to the better teams? Of course, the lesser nations, they can beat them with their quality. But I think when they think it's more of a fair fight in terms of ability, they just look for any little weakness. And I think they just work hard off the ball, on the ball, little subtle changes, and eventually it culminated in Lionel Messi taking over, and the team they just went for the kill.
Well, we're both really looking forward to it. 6 weeks of beautiful weather out here in the States, and Joe's brought Manchester with him.
Yeah, come on.
Very good. Thanks to Guy and Joe. Join Gabby Logan and the team tomorrow night for the World Cup final. Spain-Argentina. What a game. All the build-up, 7 o'clock, BBC One and iPlayer. The programme will include the halftime show in full. And there's match commentary over on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Kelly Cates presents the coverage, 6:45 p.m. That's after the final round of the 154th Open Championship. 5 Live and BBC Sounds have live commentary all afternoon and highlights of all the action from Royal Birkdale, BBC Two and iPlayer from 5 to 10 tomorrow. Or the live action from the 100 begins on Tuesday. Looking forward to that as well. And of course, you can check out the Football Daily podcast anytime on BBC Sounds.
We got labelled like the golden generation.
We had 11 top players in one team.
Captains, winning Premier Leagues, winning Champions League.
Balls to Rooney!
But in the World Cup, you get a crisis every 2 or 3 days.
The wives and girlfriends were as big a superstars as the players.
Some of them went out of control.
This is a bad start for England.
We were in a desperation mode, hidden by ego.
Everyone was thinking, why is it not quite working?
You ready?
Who is that guy?
I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
With great power
comes great responsibility.
Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Spider-Man, the full collection, streaming from the 19th of July on BBC iPlayer.
Sport, football, Spider-Man. Got it all covered, haven't we? Everything. I'm not going to ask you any questions about Spider-Man. Don't worry. So, in terms of France, though, I mean, you must be so disappointed if you're Didier Deschamps.
Yeah, I think he'd be so frustrated, but I think there's an element that he's probably sat back and thought, OK, well, there's nothing I can do now because he knows he's not going to be here tomorrow.
We've got some lovely shots, actually, of Kylian Mbappé talking to Thomas Tuchel.
It was a very open game, and obviously, of course, it's a different type of game with it being the playoff match, third and fourth playoff game. Was there enough on it for the French? They certainly started very poorly, but they came back and gave a good account of themselves in the second half. Yeah,
I thought it was brilliant from the French. I mean, you could have just rolled over. I think there was a huge response from them to be able to come back from that. And again, the players won't have enjoyed going out there today to try and play in this game, worrying about picking up injuries. They'll be thinking we want to make sure that we're fit going back into the season. They want a good break. If you get injured tonight, you're back in your club tomorrow or in and around it, making sure that you're getting fit for next season. They don't need that. They've just been in camp for, 7 weeks now, maybe a little bit longer. They want a break. They're ready mentally and physically for that break.
People say that this is a game they don't want, but I think maybe both teams were glad of it. It's a way of kind of ridding yourself a little bit. OK, it's painful, it takes a long time. You go out of these tournaments very quickly. I've been there many times myself, and you don't get another game. But maybe this way, it's a little bit easier to somehow deal with, and then because the next season starts very quickly. They get a month off now, they're back again, and they'll have the international games. Obviously, Deschamps has been amazing what he's done. Look at the feeling towards his players; it's very evident.
These are lovely pictures, aren't they? And he's obviously saying thank you for the effort as well. And as Steve Wilson mentioned earlier, world football's best-kept secret that Zinedine Zidane is going to inherit this squad, and goodness knows what he's going to do with such a talented bunch of footballers.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he's got to deliver what Deschamps couldn't, which is the World Cup. I mean, I know he's delivered it previously, but he wasn't able to do it this time, so he's got to find the formula now to be able to break down a Spanish team or going up against an opposition that controls the game a little bit differently. Is he capable of doing that? And we've seen from his previous club at Real Madrid that he was capable of doing that in the Champions League.
I think it's great having won this as a former player and then go and do it as a manager. I think it shows just what an incredible job he's done and how professional he's been over a hell of an awful lot of years.
Not to talk about England's mentality throughout the tournament, but especially after Norway and, of course, what happened against Argentina. And we were talking here in the studio about whether England just need to embrace the dark arts. Maybe that's something they've learned from the heartbreak of Argentina. Getting some bodies on the pitch that can win you free kicks, take you up the field, and that's exactly what they did tonight.
Yeah, they did. I think there's an element of that, but there's got to be another side to it where you've got to almost have better control of the game. How do you get better control of the game? How do you receive the ball in better positions? You look at the Spanish model and the way that they play. You look at Rodri, the two centre-halves and the goalkeeper, always willing to get on the ball, always comfortable at playing out from the back, always find a solution to get through a press. And I think it's something that we need to improve on, not only as a national team, as English players throughout the youth as well. I think they're capable of doing that, but I think it's a step forward tonight and a positive step.
You make an excellent point. And Martin, the one thing that we have to stress here is that, this was very much the bronze final, as FIFA are calling it, a World Cup semi-final. And knowing what the prize is at stake, it is and requires a different set of rules, clear thought, a mentality, knowing that prize is bigger than what England are about to get.
Yeah, of course, you've got to put that into context, and you are going for third place, but it's a consolation, isn't it? It's our best ever performance since '66 to finish third. It's not bad.
But it could have been and should have been better.
Yes. I know, and obviously with Gareth Southgate getting to the final in 2018, it was a much different response from the supporters, wasn't it? We were expecting more, really. We maybe have exceeded our seeding. People felt we were the fourth best team in the world. We've now come third. It's one-step progress, but I think it's good for the manager to end on this way, to pick out some positives from what could have been so much more, and it didn't quite deliver.
Speaking of positives, Bukayo Saka got a hat-trick, and he's with Kelly.
Well, Bukayo, huge congratulations. England have the bronze medal. You've got the match ball, but wow, that was a roller coaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Obviously, we're both still quite disappointed to not be in the final, but it was about finishing strong, and for us, giving the country the best position in the World Cup they finished for around 60 years, so we're happy with the final result.
What won it for England in the end? Because for large parts of that second half, France were very much on the front foot.
I think the first half won it for us. We won the first half, they won the second half, and obviously in the end we got the two goals to win the game. So I'd say that's how the game went.
Word on your penalty, the pressure on your shoulders then. Was Jude going to take it and he gave it to you?
No. Jude was never taking it. To be fair, he was the first one to say, go and get your hat-trick. He was just holding the ball for me, so none of them come and try and distract me. But yeah, I was always going to take it.
You are going to get the headlines with your hat-trick. A lot of people will be asking why you haven't played more in this tournament. Do you feel you could have played a bit of a bigger part?
Of course, I would love to have played more, but you know, it's too late to talk about that. You know, I just try to do my talking on the pitch, and yeah, it's done now, and let's move on.
And the Arsenal fans in particular, I'm sure, will be wondering just how fit you are, because you certainly looked out there.
Yeah, I'm fit.
And you've had a few days to reflect from the disappointment. How do you look back on England's tournament as a whole?
Yeah, I would say we built and built across the tournament. We had some amazing results, and in the end we fell short against Argentina, and yeah, it hurts a lot to all of us, and I'm sure it's the same for the fans back home, but we have to hold our head high and move on and focus on the next one. That's what I say.
Finally, yesterday John Stone said he doesn't like the noise around the manager. How do you feel about that?
I think it's just part of the game. You know, when you lose, there's always going to be noise. When you win, there's going to be noise. It's how you react to it, how you use it as fuel. And yeah, today we finished strong, so that's all we could really do, and we done it.
Well played today. I know you didn't want the bronze, but it's a medal at least. Well done.
Ah, bless you, Bukayo. And as you can see, what a wild game. Look at the first half stats compared to the second half. We have got plenty of analysis for you. It might take us till 6 in the morning, but do stay with us. There's plenty to get through. But what a crazy game. We've even had to put the score on the floor here in studio, just to remind ourselves of the score.
To remind Danny Murphy.
I love that when Danny said, what was the score? But what a crazy game.
It was brilliant in the fact of what we wanted to see was we wanted to see front foot football, and we got it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw Saka there, how much he's hurting, how much these players, I mean, how fit was he? You know, he obviously didn't, he felt he could have offered something, but at least tonight he gets an opportunity to give a performance, but you get that feeling that he wanted to play in the last game and he didn't get that opportunity.
Well, especially that last answer says so much, doesn't it?
Even the Argentinian manager was saying, I don't know why Saka didn't take to the pitch. So we'll always be looking back, but we have to look forward now. And the manager, everyone learns from it going forward, and let's hope they do that.
OK, let's hear from Thomas Tuchel. He's with Kelly.
Well, Thomas, wow, what a way for England's World Cup to finish. Try and sum that up for me if you can.
Well, difficult. It's enough for 4 matches. What happened here? We had a brilliant first half and then a turbulent second half. You could see the difference what one day makes and the difference in the schedule. We're just so tired and drained from the last weeks. So massive compliment and full respect. The mentality that we showed and going through all the adversity, absolutely brilliant.
Given what happened in the semi-final, did you ever fear that you weren't going to be able to see it out tonight?
If I was in fear?
I said, given what happened on Wednesday against Argentina, the way you lost the lead, did you ever fear that you wouldn't be able to see it out tonight?
I was afraid of the physical demand of the match, because we know the quality and speed of France, and they have much less. The schedule for them was just less demanding. They had 1 day more in between the semi-final to digest, and they had way less travel distances than us. So the sums just up for us. We played in the heat, overtime, and in altitude and whatever. So I was worried physically, and yeah, you could see it in second half, all the cramps, all the tiredness. But I was never worried about the mentality. I said it before. This team created something very special, and they showed it again.
What changed at the drinks break as well? Because it felt like you had more control after that, or was it as simple as bringing on Jude Bellingham and Elliot Anderson?
Not sure if we had more control. We had just fresher legs and then quality players again, and the others were tired. And again, like France played in the full flow and in full risk. So we got lucky to not concede the equaliser and finished it off with a penalty and a brilliant goal.
A word on Bukayo Saka as well, the hat-trick hero tonight. Do you wish you could have played him more earlier in the tournament?
No. I could wish him. He did everything right. I had just a feeling in semi-final for Morgan Rogers that he would be involved in something special. That was it. And then the games in itself demand so much. We are so much forced into changes because of cramps and flow of the game. So Bukayo showed that he's a key player. There was never a doubt. I was not even aware now that he had a hat-trick. I lost the overview over the goal scorers, but well-deserved, brilliant.
You've also spoken a lot this week about needing to close the gap on the top nations. Does a result like this maybe give the belief, and how far are England off that?
Yeah, but you see that you could see I think everything. We have the ability to close it, but we have also the ability within a gap. They have the ability to open it up again. Listen, they were 8 years ago, they were the champions. 4 years ago, they were in the final, they're in the Nations League final. So there is a slight gap, but there's no problem. We want to close it. I said yesterday, today is the first step to close it. We did it, we beat them. The next one will be against Spain in Nations League.
And I'm sure you're tired now, but still as energised as ever for this job?
Yeah, because matches and see a team fight like this gives you energy. The tiredness will come after. We will still feel the pain when we know tomorrow is the final and all that. So this will take a while, but overall, it gives me more energy than it takes from me.
Thanks, Thomas. Well done.
Very revealing interview. You probably heard Oasis "Don't Look Back in Anger" as well in the background. Is that how Thomas Tuchel needs to reflect on the World Cup now? Don't look back in anger?
Well, he'll carry the scars, because obviously that does impact on you. There was a fight, though, and there was a reaction. But what he needs to do now for the future is develop a game plan where they can control games in a better fashion. I think that's what Spain have shown us against France, and we didn't quite show that tonight. As much as the game had enterprise and so much interest at either end, it got a little bit hairy there. So, look, in the future, develop a game for us to do that. And I think the players are there. That's the encouraging thing. We saw a reaction from the players. There's enough ability there. It's just the manager getting it right, who the players are going to be at the right moments.
Stephen, Tuchel's been hammered for the substitutions and the defensive retreat against Argentina, but he got his substitutions back on tonight.
Yeah, he did. And the big thing was that arguably one of them was a midfield change which gave us more ability to press in that central area, which is probably what we needed against Argentina. The other one was Bellingham, which allows you to win free kicks, it allows you to hold the ball up, it allows you to take pressure off the team, it allows you to drive up the pitch, which is completely different to what we saw the other day. The big thing about losing a football game is how you react to it and how you learn from it. Now, the players will learn from it, but also the manager has to learn from it as well. I think there's been a lot of talk about Bellingham, Tuchel talking about how he's not disappointed with the changes he made in the Argentina game. He stands by them. But I think deep down, I think he'll look back on it in time and think, I could have been a little bit more proactive. I think he's probably looked at that over the last couple of days and thought, I can do more. Today he's done that. It had a positive effect towards the end of the game. But I agree with Martin. You don't want to get to that point where you're 4-0 up and suddenly you go to 4-3 and you think, hang about. Like, we shouldn't be in this position. We should be controlling this game. You'd think if Spain went 4-0 up, they'd be able to control it a lot better. It might get to 4-2, but it'd never get too close.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Martin, I go back to that point I made earlier in that question to you about, let's remember what this game is and what it means compared to a World Cup semi-final. Because it did seem as if the players were enjoying tonight. And yet, in the last 15 minutes, there did appear to be a fear in the eyes of those England players, knowing what was coming and the onslaught that Argentina put in front of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, obviously, we all know what the goal was to come here and win the World Cup. And this isn't a consolation, but this is the first step back. You know, the Phoenix has to rise out of the ashes. You have to react. And there's been a reaction tonight. As bitter as they all feel, you know, they've given a good account of themselves this evening. So that's the first step. Of course, now we get to another tournament. How much have we learned? We were being told that Thomas Tuchel would give us something a bit different, something in the moment. But we found out that it's still very tough. It doesn't matter about what you've won before when you come into this job. You know, people were saying Gareth Southgate didn't quite have that in the moment. Well, he didn't do a bad job when you look now. But he's taken us to the expectation level's risen. Thomas Tuchel couldn't quite take it there to the next step. I think, though, we're on a decent pathway. And if these people can stick together, can learn from this, and he can educate the players to play with more freedom. Because when he talked about DNA, it looked like he was having a little bit of a go and detaching himself from that and saying, look, something I can't control. Yes, he can. I've been there with a foreign manager, with Arsene Wenger, who made sure that we we played with total belief, and anything was possible. On reflection, Steve, I think on reflection, we changed our back four so many times. We had lots of changes. We were never really certain who was the best right winger, who was the best left winger. There were core players that were in charge of their positions. And if you look at the other teams, Argentina particularly, we pretty well know their 11. And there's a loyalty to some of those players, whereas that didn't quite happen with Thomas Tuchel through this tournament.
OK, congratulations to England and the bronze medals. Should we do some analysis?
Let's do it.
OK.
How long have we got?
Right, let's start with Kylian Mbappé to make it 4-1.
I mean, well, the thing is...
Look, I don't want to dig out players, but Ollie Watkins has lost the ball. It's another example. It can happen. He's just come off the bench. But you cannot lose the ball cheaply, because at this level, you get absolutely punished.
OK. And then it's 4-2.
Who was it? Yeah, Barcola.
Let's check our notes.
But this is the one where Ezri Konsa's got to look at his position. Konsa, he's looking inside. I think but that ball in behind, we talked about it with Rashford and Saka in the first half. Pacing behind kills you.
Can we also just praise the finishing that we've seen tonight as well?
It was OK.
Absolutely top draw, you have to say, don't you?
Top notch.
These players running at you is frightening.
Kylian Mbappé then became the outright top goal scorer at the FIFA World Cup. 22 goals, one ahead of Lionel Messi, and it's 4-3.
Yeah, and I think we all started to get a little bit nervous in the studio here when we saw this goal, but the link-up play, the little over from Elise...
You know, I think he gets cramp after that.
I mean, it's a beautiful touch from Elise, isn't it? It's a beautiful touch. And then you're expecting the net to bulge.
He's such a clever player. I mean, where you think he's going to shoot, he has that ability just to find the pass. The one where he opens his foot, he opens it ever so slightly, and that's the fine margins of football. But listen, when they go forward and they create opportunities like that for a defender, it's very, very difficult to stop.
Yeah, but I think you have to applaud England then at this point. They responded, and we talked about the Argentina game where they didn't want to go forward. But Spence, who's been one of the standout players, he breaks forward. He has that endeavour. I want to get forward. I want to affect the game. He grabs a penalty. And then that's that's an important moment for England.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. No doubt, definite penalty.
Oh, no doubt.
The game and the type of game it is.
What, tonight?
Yeah.
A little bit, but when you do it against Argentina, when you're backs against the ropes, you've got to take your winger the opposite way. You've got to take Dembélé back towards his goal. You saw Dembélé there on the edge of his box. Suddenly you're taking them back. Well, the threat's less going the other way now. So that's the positive effect of making those forward runs. And then obviously Saka steps up and slots the penalty in beautifully.
He does indeed. Right. Let me just check my notes. Oh, there's another one as well. Here we go, Dembélé.
Yeah. Dembélé game, we very rarely see any support for the fullback when they come inside, and that's something I'd like to see change. The defending needs to be better. For all of the goals I've seen in this World Cup, it's been amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah. Are you saying Keown's smashing Dembélé then?
I'm saying I'd like to see a little bit better defending here and there. Because we talk about tactics as much as we want, but even for England, you know, if we mark better from the cross that comes from Messi, then maybe we go to the final. So it does come down to how well you defend.
And then Jude Bellingham seals it for England.
Absolute superstar, isn't he?
You know, he tears it up in Spain. We should be proud, really, of his performances, and he still has a massive future. He's only 23 years of age.
And look at him, so athletic, Stephen, in the way he runs, in the way he wins those free kicks as well. You know, when you're looking for somebody to just take control of the game, maybe he needs to have a bit more responsibility in terms of that, but also having that composure in front of goal.
Yeah,
incredible.
It's incredible, but I think the big thing that you can look at Jude Bellingham is, I think you could play him as a 6, an 8 and a 10 and a 9. I think he's got that ability to play right through the spine of the team.
But where would you play
get him a top performance off him. I'd play him as a 10. I think in that 10 position, he's got that ability, but you've got to get players around him that feed that ball into him, who are brave at break the lines, and then he can play a little bit higher up on the shoulders.
Where would you play him, Martin?
Do you know what? Having looked at him here, because his defensive capabilities have really shone out, I think you could almost play him in a 2. You could sit him alongside in that midfield. And maybe, I don't know if he's at his best with his back to goal. When he's running with the ball in front of him, I think he's at his best. And it's to get him on the turn to do that can be tricky if he's in the 10. So he's a wonderful talent. There's no doubt about that. But we need to find the right position for him in that midfield.
Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you, Stephen.
Are we done?
Lovely to see you.
There's no more. No
more goals.
Thank you. Remember, 7 o'clock BBC One for the final tomorrow. It's been a World Cup that's been unprecedented in so many ways. And over the past 6 weeks, there's still been time to have a little bit of fun along the way. Thank you for watching. From all of us here, good night.
The greatest extravaganza on earth, the 23rd FIFA World Cup.
48 teams, 3 host nations, 104 games.
I'm excited!
It's a lovely Saturday afternoon here in, Houston.
The biggest, the most bloated, the most controversial.
Can we just go to the Azteca now?
Please, after you.
You've got the exact same outfit.
I liked that much when I went and bought it from.
What, the exact same thing?
Wavy boy.
Smell like medicine.
Traffic cones, bagpipes, and the famous Providence duck.
The shirt! The shirt? Isn't it fancy for you, Chambers?
Wayne Rooney, I expect you to go out on a rowing trip.
Can we just go to the Azteca now?
How many times I have to tell you? We're in Atlanta.
I'm not sure I've seen a referee with cramp before. Is that rum and coke?
Just about everyone's felt the full force of that.
We used to have a cat called Bob. The game's not that bad. Yeah, he jumped in the back of a Royal Mail van and we lost him. Sad, really. Anyway.
This is your referee speaking. After review, number 10, Paraguay, corner his ball. Decision is red card. Decision is red card.
You know we're in Salford, right?
No, I don't care, mate. Get me in the Azteca.
It's there!
Let's have a little listen to this.
Maybe.
We love the World Cup, don't we?
Yeah.
My heart is Mexican. My soul is English.
And burn. They won't be away fast.
And my hat is a hot dog.
Oh my God!
Let's go!
It is over the bar!
Are you a Katy Perry fan, Chaplin? Yeah. Did you know that song? No.
On the occasion, the team, everything against us.
Cristiano Ronaldo has come to the party.
41 years of age with a huge smile on his face.